The Irene Animal Production Campus hosted a Beef Farmers Day on the 14th of April, and joining me now is Frans Jordaan from the ARC to give us some feedback, give us the reasons why this was attended, and also the outcomes from these days. Frans, yes, welcome. Give us some background on your Farmers Day. As I said, it was by the ARC at your campus on the 14th of April.
Thank you very much, Jess. It was our first Farmers Day since COVID, so we were quite excited by hosting this Farmers Day. And yeah, how it started, actually the Afrikaner Bushveld Study Group approached us and asked us if we can co-host a Farmers Day. And especially for emerging farmers, smallholder farmers and commercial farmers. So we, within the ARC at the Animal Production Campus, we sit together and specific sections like the Beef Improvement Scheme, the Breeding and Genetics Group, and then also we have a section specifically for smallholder farmers. We sat together and we made plans, and we just worked together, and I have to thank all our colleagues that really made this a successful day. So, and then also we did a lot of marketing because we wanted the correct group of people attending the Farmers Day, especially the emerging market or emerging sectors. So I made use of our mentors that we've worked together in the past prior to COVID. And they have WhatsApp groups where they distributed the advertisement for the Farmers Day for us. And I think that made a big difference for us. So obviously from the perspective of this Afrikaner study group, the Bushveld Study Group, they wanted to market their breed, which is the Afrikaner breed. And from our perspective, we have a mandate for information dissemination. And out of experience, we know a Farmers Day is the ideal platform to do information dissemination. Farmers can interact with the stud industry, they can ask questions. Also with the practical sessions, we know emerging farmers enjoy a practical session where they can actually see the cattle and they can ask a lot of questions. So the ARC is a role player in that sense where we can bring all these different sectors together on one day at one location, and breeders can interact with each other. So we must keep in mind that almost 40% of beef cattle numbers are in the hands of these emerging farmers. So there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of development that can be done to see how we can introduce these people to the commercial value chain. And that's where the ARC play a huge role. And obviously there's challenges with these farmers. They have a lack of funds, infrastructure, whatever. But we can make a change, and we will.
That's your purpose, right? You mentioned the emerging farmers, you mentioned your colleagues. Who else attended the day? And just elaborate on the program.
Yeah, well, more than 200 emerging farmers attended the day. And we had 8 speakers, which sounds maybe too many. But we decided to have short time slots. So we also had then 2 stud breeders that had their cattle on display on the day, and they did the practical session for us. That the one is Dr. Pieter de Kok from Tabazimbi, and then also Werner Boshoff from Lepelale. So both of these gentlemen had their cattle on display, and then the ARC, we also have Afrikaner herd, stud herd at Irene, and we also had our whole herd on display in the camp next to the temporary pens, so people could see the cows with the calves and so on, and really interact with these 2 gentlemen on the practical side. So apart from that, myself, I did the presentation on the Integis, which is the Integrated Registration and Genetic Information System. And there's a lot of reports on this database. if you record your animals, you get a lot of reports back, and there's an unbiased way to identify non-performing animals and identify fertile animals. So that's a good selection guideline. And what we do at the ARC, we apply these reports in our own herd. So it's possible for us to explain to farmers how to utilize these reports and use it as a selection guideline within your own herd. So that was the one presentation. And then also Professor Michiel Scholes, he talked about the importance of adapted breed in the era of climate change. And then Professor Linky Magadlela, she did a presentation on the adaptation or adaptedness of this Afrikaner breed. And then we also had the emerging farmer Ipeling Kwadi. She's actually a Bonsmara commercial breeder near Brits in Northwest. She also did a presentation on the challenges of emerging farmers. And then Dr. Dan Moteyang, he's the program manager of the scheme for emerging farmers. He also elaborated on the way they operate in South Africa amongst the emerging sector.
So what were some of the possible outcomes from these days?
Yeah, for us, the big challenge is how to get good quality genetic material from the stud industry to the emerging farmer, because there's cost involved and so on. So one of the positive outcomes is that this Bushveld study group, the Afrikaner Bushveld study group, they late in July, they will have a beef school, training school for emerging farmers at the Tabazimbi show as well. And after that, they will have an auction as well. So we want to invite all these farmers that attended our Farmers Day also to that beef school, and then also that they can attend the auction and see if we can get this good genetics to the emerging sector. So that is the one big outcome, this beef school. And then also we want to have this Farmers Day on an annual basis, and we're building a database of emerging farmers with their email addresses and invite them to all the information sessions that we have, or Farmers Days, or whatever happening in the industry, and see how we can introduce them to new technologies and make this an ongoing thing. It's not just a once-off Farmers Day and we don't build on what happened on this Farmers Day.
Well, that's very interesting. The way forward and your ultimate goal, what is that?
Yeah, for us, first of all, human development for a sustainable farming community. That is quite important for us, and that also forms part of our mandate. And then also the ultimate goal is in national interest. If we can improve on production efficiency amongst this sector and see how they can become part of the commercial value chain. And that is in national interest if we can improve on red meat production.
I'm sure you'll reach that goal. Good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, that was Frans Jordaan from the ARC talking about a Farmers' Day that was held on the 14th of February or April at the campus in Irene and the way forward.